The single most important thing for any platform or process is getting adoption by software developers. And then true magic happens. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this session. Today, I'm excited to share with you some ideas on how you, as a developer, can extend the reach of Microsoft Search for your users. I'm Saujanya Srivalli, Program Manager on the Microsoft Search team. In this session, I'll do a quick recap of what Microsoft Search is, share a few scenarios of how you can extend the benefits of Microsoft Search for your users, and finally, chat with an amazing customer who has experienced this firsthand and will share their learnings. For those of you who might be new to Microsoft Search, it's simple, intelligent search that helps you find information across Microsoft 365 and your organization. In a sense, this is the native search you see today in your Microsoft 365 apps and services, bringing one capability across search experience in a consistent and contextual way. Microsoft Search is built within the same bounds of Microsoft 365 trust and compliance measures, where data and privacy of information is paramount. When you think about Microsoft Search from an entity perspective, you get files, which are contextual and relevant to you, people, which is one of the most important aspects of organizational search, conversations, bringing content across Teams and Yammer, and then you have sites, answers, company resources, groups, locations, and much more. I am just scratching the surface here. If you're interested in learning more about Microsoft Search and watching demos, check out aka.ms/Microsoft Search. That is all great. But how does it impact your organization or your users? While internal search can be a simple thing, the impact is huge. A recent study done in partnership with Forrester found that organizations using Microsoft Search save anywhere from 13 to 40 million in lost productivity, effectively reducing support costs by about 60% and saving employees 55 to 80 hours a year at no additional cost. That's more than a week for most of us. Now, that's the kind of deal I'm sure you will be interested in partnering with. As you saw, Microsoft Search is already helping your users save time and increase productivity. So you may think, how can you extend its reach and value? In every organization today, there are silos of applications and individual search experiences. For a user, this means having to remember all the places they need to go to find the information to complete their work. It's still a lot of time spent navigating and finding stuff. That's where you come to the rescue. Imagine a world where these silos are connected to their data and their search experience. With Microsoft Graph connectors plus embedded search box, a simple tool search box component for Microsoft Search, you can seamlessly connect these data silos to one search experience. Of course, this is just one scenario. Let me show you how this works. Contoso is a sales organization. Salesforce is at the heart of this company, and so is Microsoft 365. Charlotte is a sales analyst at Contoso. Her job starts and ends on this internal sales portal, where she can stay on top of her calendar, access her documents, and manage her accounts. Previously, Charlotte's job included navigating across SharePoint, Teams, Salesforce, and her internal sales portal to get her work done. Now, Charlotte can connect with all of this information from a single place. Charlotte manages the accounts and opportunities with Northwind traders. She can quickly find this account and opportunities from her sales portal. Here, she's using Microsoft Search in Bing. And while she's here, her files, conversations, and people she works with are just one click away. Since Charlotte is on Bing, she is also just one click away from the important news on Northwind traders that she needs to be aware of. The same information is available for anyone at Contoso who prefers to use Microsoft Search inside SharePoint. Not only that, with just a few clicks, Charlotte and her colleagues can update their opportunities right from the search experience. Charlotte's team has been recently working with Trey Research Proposal and were able to successfully close this account. Close opportunity, mark it as 1, change the amount, and done. It was that simple. Charlotte's manager, Kumar, is running late for a meeting and wants to quickly cross-check the latest updates in the Northwind Traders opportunities. He prefers to use the Windows search box, which is his go-to place to search. A quick search for Salesforce information brings back the latest about the Northwind Traders opportunities. Kumar is able to check the latest updates to the opportunities and is now ready for his meeting. This is the power of Microsoft Search. With Salesforce information now ingested to Microsoft Search via the Graph connectors, its information is available to all the sales analysts at Contoso across Microsoft 365 apps and services. The embedded search box that you saw on Charlotte's intranet page is just a few lines of script. You can customize the appearance of the search box to match your site, and also direct users to the default or a custom vertical within Microsoft Search. To learn more about this power tool, visit aka.ms/MSP embedded search box. This is just one example, but I hope you get the idea. It is my great honor to have one of our amazing customers with us here today to share their story about Microsoft Search. Welcome, Suzanne and Manpreet from Cognizant. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in Cognizant?
My name is Suzanne George, and I am the North America Practice Lead for Modern Workplace and Collaboration.
I am Manpreet Singh from Cognizant Technology Solution. I'm an architect at Modern Workplace. I'm also an MVP in Office 365, and we have been working with Modern Workplace for quite a long time with Microsoft. Thank you for having us here.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. So, Suzanne, I wanted to start by asking, how did you leverage Microsoft Search within Cognizant?
That's a really great question. And it started about 4 years ago when we first found out that Microsoft was coming up with a platform called MSB, Microsoft Search and Bing. And we thought this is going to be revolutionary. This is going to allow me to find my stuff. The things that are just elusive and unfindable in my email or maybe my calendar or maybe my OneDrive or wherever it may be inside SharePoint. And when we first launched it, it was kind of a hidden gem. And in less than 2 months, we had over 40,000 people worldwide using the application. We've had a really exciting journey with Microsoft Search and Bing, and we are really excited about some of the new things that are coming out, like connectors.
Great. That's awesome to hear, Suzanne. As a system integrator, you're probably working with several customers to enable Microsoft Search. I wanted to know a little bit about what are the common scenarios that you see with your customers, and maybe talk about like how developers can add value to what already exists within Microsoft Search.
That's a really great question. And I think there's a couple of different aspects. And if you don't mind, I have a video that shows not only the journey that you take from an organizational perspective, but also the journey that you would take as a developer. So some of the things that you might think about when you're beginning this process of implementing Search and Bing in your organization is one of the real key approaches that we took, and I think that developers really need to understand, is we took it from an employee-centric approach. We started with the outcomes that we wanted to drive. We really wanted to help people change the way that they find things and the way that they store things and making it really easy and simple to use. But also we needed to help them build those change champions to help them understand what it is that we were trying to deliver to them technically. And we went through a couple of different phases. One is we made sure that we found those right stakeholders. Even though this was a developer-led initiative, we wanted to make sure that we did it in a more organized fashion. So we found those developers, we created a plan, and we showed them the value of the technology through proof of concepts or POCs and said, hey, here's how you can do it. And one of the things that was really important that we wanted to showcase was, really around the search box. This search box can go in our intranet, it can go in our applications, and in fact, we're bringing it into our applications. It can go really anywhere, carrying search and its results with us anywhere we go. But then, as developers, how we got our development teams is excited is we actually started showing them how we could build Power Apps and Power Platform into the search experience, and really being able to say, now we're taking it even to that next level. And that's really different. And that's really something unique about the search platform, is that you can combine business with developers. And to talk really about the developer experience, I'd like to transition it over to Manpreet, who's going to talk about some of the graph experiences and development applications you can choose to use.
So as developers, I love bringing in new technologies. I think Microsoft programs help us to learn a lot of stuff and play around with a lot of stuff, including Microsoft Graph. Microsoft Graph, as we all know, that there was an endpoint which used to connect Microsoft technologies, SharePoint, Outlook, OneDrive. But do we actually know that you can actually connect external products like Box, Google Suite, Documentum? There's a huge list of it. And with Microsoft, we are building these connectors in a day or two. It's so simple. You just have to have an infrastructure ready, and so simple. So let's see here. We all have an admin center. If you don't, I would suggest you to have an M365 developer license. It's super easy. Just go ahead. On those tenants, on the admin center, go to the search and intelligence section. You will be able to see there are ways you can build in connectors. If you see here, there are connectors which are Microsoft inbuilt, but no, there are products, ServiceNow, an external product. Other products like Oracle, external product. So you don't have to connect not only the Microsoft Search products, but also the external products. Not only the connection is impossible by the tenant admin center, you can also configure the verticals. You can also configure the result type, how the result type is going to be visible, whether the parameters you want to show, do you want to show the name, the description, URL, everything. So we as developer, we don't have to do much hard work on the coding structure, because most of the work, once we ingest the data to Microsoft, everything is taken care by them. The security, the compliance, the data infrastructure, everything. The number of variation, it keeps on growing. So if I have an external connector, it's a Documentum or it's a box, I can pass on the variables or the parameters I want. And while passing, I can actually frame how my result type is going to be visible. If you see here, the screen here, the layout designer, I can configure, okay, should I have an image on the right? Should I have a title? If you see here, the search results are coming from Google, Box, ServiceNow, Documentum, all different, not related to Microsoft products directly on your search engine. Quick and easy, right? And we as Cognizant, we have built the following connectors: Workspaces, ServiceNow, Google Suite, Box, Documentum, Jira. Do connect with us if you're looking for something. The architecture, as you see here, is mostly built on the platform, what you choose as a source, and then it's all about the crawling and the data ingestion. Simple authentication, you are using Graph endpoint as your entity. Like we all have graph.microsoft.com/the API. We use external as the endpoint, and you pass on what API are you going to look for. Is it Box? Is it Documentum? With Azure and with the connector, we connect the API with the Azure. We connect with the app ID, client ID, and the secret key. The data is connected, all in the same Active Directory. The access is loaded in every single document. So, for example, I am searching a file and Susan doesn't have access to it. She will not be able to see it. Though my API went in and crawled every single data out of the Azure services, but still, the ACL will grant or deny her access based on our Active Directory ingestion data, which we push it. So here, when you see, the ingestion is very important. We pass on not only the access, not only the URL or the document title, we pass metadata. We can pass keywords. There's no limit to it. Yeah, like if I have to search for something like a report, I can find all reports with the keyword because that metadata was tagged to all my ingested data in Microsoft Search. And the best part, the access is taken care, The compliance, the security will be taken care by Microsoft. What we have to do, we just ingest the data.
Thank you, Manpreet. I think that was an awesome overview, and I think our audience will really appreciate you taking the time and walking us through how simple it is to create a custom connector. Are there any tips and tricks that you have learned in this process that you can share with the audience today?
So I think tips and tricks will be here. First, there's a limitation there. You cannot have more than 10 connectors, whether it's out of the box or custom. So we cannot deploy more. The play around will be pause that particular connector. It never gets deleted. Whatever you have indexed, the data always stays there. And that's much quicker part. Second, I would say is the item crawling. When we are going for like a million records of data, there is a little slowness. Prepare when you're indexing a lot of data to do on a weekend or on a off hours, because it takes back a little. Because I think the number of count is 4 per item. 4 item will go per second. So if you're going with a million of records, just boot up. Just be prepared. And right now, there are like we can't do any schema work on the tenant or on the top level of the UI, but you can always configure n number of schema and metadata on your code structure. And it's super simple. One single line of code and you can have a schema attached to your connector.
Yeah, I think there's also a second aspect to that, Sejonia, where it's really the business and the IT executives really need to get an understanding of how this process works, and how it can be beneficial to the employees. One of the best practices that we have done and lessons learned is go in and let's do a POC, a really short couple weeks POC, where we can show the value of the platform. And then the business and the stakeholders all get in line and say, wow, this is really an amazing transformation that we can bring to our organization. But we would have never been able to imagine how wonderful and powerful it is until we saw it. So that's one of the things that I think is really important, especially as developers, when we want to promote a technology or even administrators of a tenant. We really need to help them understand what is the value. And sometimes we have to show it to them before they really understand it. So I think that might be also something that people might want to take back into their organizations.
That's amazing, Suzanne. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think once we start playing around and doing these things, it may not look as daunting as it looks when you look at just the documentation. So that's amazing. Thank you so much, Suzanne and Manpreet, for taking your time today and for being with us. I hope our community of developers and audience here are inspired by the work that you have done, and we look forward to the partnership with you.
Thank you so much, Sejonia, and thank you so much to the search team for building such a wonderful platform for us to build amazing things on top of.
Thank you, Sojanya, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, Susan, for allowing me to show us a development insight.
I hope that everything I showed you today has you more excited than ever about Microsoft Search and the possibilities of how you can extend its reach and value for your users and your customers. You can get started with all of this today. Familiarize yourself with Microsoft Graph connectors and how you can build your own data connectors. Leverage tools like the embedded search box to seamlessly connect your intranet site to Microsoft Search. And most importantly, share your feedback. This session only covers a few scenarios. For you as developers, the possibilities are endless. We can't wait to see the magic you create with Microsoft Search for your users. Do let us know and do use the hashtag Microsoft Search Magic. Thank you.